Hello everyone, welcome to Torah for Women's Mountain Moments. I'm Judith Garten and we are getting back to journaling. Today I would like to begin this new lesson by reading again the verses from Ephesians 6:10 through 17, and we're going to be using the King James Version. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh, blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace, above all taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. In our previous videos in this series, we've already covered why Paul talks about the full armor of God, meaning full armor, what it means to stand and stand again, having your loins girt about with truth, and what the breastplate of righteousness is. We've also taken challenges each time to journal in our personal prayer journals what these messages mean to each and every one of us. I also wanted you to express how you chose to apply these in your lives. In these difficult times facing us right now with so much changing, we have to be willing to explore how we need to strengthen our resolve in spiritual matters so that we're able to stand and stand again. Stand for ourselves, for our families, and for Yahweh. Now we're moving on to the next piece of the armor, which Paul talks about. Having your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel. Now, what exactly does this mean? Let's start with the word shod. It's not one commonly used in our modern vernacular. It just isn't. You don't hear shod all that often. I suppose if you have horses, you might, because it is a word that they still use when they are talking about horseshoes. But exploring what this means to us now, we can find out how it is more than just sliding on a pair of shoes, slipping on your flip-flops or your sandals, and popping out to the Walmart for snacks. This is definitely a different kind of word. Taking apart this phrase, we're going to see the three parts. First, your feet are shod, which means they're bound under. They're not just something you slip on. As part of the armor, the feet are bound under, wrapped fully by the shoe materials. These shoes are what provides the soldier not only protection for his or her feet against the daily grind of walking about, and I say his or her right here because in this day and age, we are all out there as warriors. These shoes that you're wearing, they will provide longevity. They're going to ensure your feet are protected, but they're made of material that is long-lasting. Remember that. Imagine the soldiers from ancient times. Their shoes made of strong leather versus canvas, for example. Canvas is a very sturdy fabric, yes, and many tents were made out of fabrics similar to canvas and other long-term products. And we even use them today in some of our tents. You can see military tents, especially those from, earlier on, World War II, from the 60s, 70s, and even in the 80s. I saw tents made of canvas as well. You can also still buy canvas tents and yurts, things like that. Canvas is very sturdy. It's been used for so long. It provides that longevity that you are seeking. However, leather, as it is worn, it often forms a hard coating over the sole of the shoes as well, where canvas will simply wear thinner. Now I remember as a teenager, my aunt in Ohio got into leather work and she made me a pair of leather moccasins. I love those moccasins. I wore them constantly. That hot Tucson pavement could be torture on your feet when you're walking around barefoot, which I did a lot. Now those moccasins were great because it made you feel like you were wearing shoes, but it made you feel like you were walking barefoot as well. So I had the protection from the heat and the hot of the pavement, but I also had the comfort of being barefoot. I loved them. And this is what it reminds me of when I think of shod, being bound around and all the way around on your feet, because my moccasins weren't just simple moccasins. They had the bottom They had the sides and they had the top. They had a nice tongue that went up, and then they had the sides wrapped around my ankle so that nothing would get inside. I actually never got sand in my moccasins when I would be wearing them. I recall also feeling as though my feet didn't get hot and sweaty all the time in them either. They actually felt like they were more like part of my feet. Almost like I was wearing an oven mitt on my feet sometimes, especially when I'm walking on that hot pavement. Rocks, as I walked to and from school, they didn't hurt my feet as much as if I'd been walking around barefoot and whatnot. I didn't have to tippy-toe around the yard when I was wearing them. I loved them. Wish I could find a pair exactly like those two. I can never find exactly what I'm looking for, but you know, I used to wear them all the time, walking to and from school with jeans or shorts, whatever. Now, over time, the soles became shiny, like I discussed before. They were stiffer, but not brittle. They seemed to be even more protective the longer I wore them. When I think of my feet being bound under and my feet shod, I always think of those moccasins with that sturdy sole, the protective wrapped around way they grabbed onto my ankle and my feet. In what other way would they protect? Well, they were sturdy, solidly made, stitched strongly. That's how your feet should be shod in the preparation of the gospel. Firmly protected, strong, sturdy, solidly. Now, a soldier's feet and their shoes, the shoes would need to be like my moccasins as well. So a soldier who goes into battle with their feet shod, all right, he is not going to just firmly plant or embed his feet as described in the previous verses, you know, to hold your ground. He's going to also be firmly planted, and as he advances one foot in front of the other, those shoes, because they're bound around the feet, they're not going to fall off. They're not going to loosen. The soldier would be able to push forward, and in doing so, leaning into the battle, putting one foot in front of the other, you'll find that a soldier tends to find more courage. And then that faithfulness comes out. That strength, that daring, that bravery, that determination, grit, firmness, fearlessness, fortitude. Those are all words I found when I was looking up great synonyms to tell you how to go into battle with your preparation of the gospel. I could keep going with all kinds of more powerful words. An amazing picture for you of what your feet will be like, what you will be like, shod with sturdy shoes, and what it means. It gives you a great confidence that your feet will not give way under the brute force of the adversary. The next piece to this section states that our feet are shod with preparation. Preparation means a readiness, a sort of insurance. And I said insurance, not insurance, and there's a difference. That preparation ensures you are ready no matter what the challenge. It means that you're awake, aware for what's going to come, so that you can ensure you are on point to go forward in whatever path is before you. It means having a solid foundation, firm footing, just like in the verses where Paul talked of taking a strong stance, planting your feet and holding firm. Wow, think of that. So now you're being told again to be firm-footed and have your feet protected with the gospel. Now the last piece is the gospel, and this is the gospel of peace. This peace is a biblical peace, a biblical quietness, peace of mind, calmness, and wholeness. And it's intriguing that you get that picture coupled with the picture of a soldier. But we'll go through that. When all essential parts are joined together, you can obtain that biblical quietness, that peace of mind, that calmness, and that wholeness when we are one with Him. In it, we can find a security, a safety, even though we're battling against spiritual forces in this world, especially now. Even in the midst of battle and turmoil, we can find that peace, that harmony in Abba. It is there, and it makes and keeps us secure. So it makes you feel secure, and it helps you to keep that security. Some commentaries will actually address this peace as specific to this verse with phrases such as, according to a conception distinctly peculiar to Christianity, that tranquil state of a soul assured of its salvation through Christ, fearing nothing from God, and content with your earthly lot. That's from Strong's Concordance. In life's challenges, we need to remember that we need to be prepared with God's peace living in us, that it be visible through the fruits of the Spirit, which should be exuding from us for others to see in their time of need. Might we find times when we're going to cry, whine, or mourn along the way? Of course, it's very likely that we will run into circumstances that will challenge our emotions. But when it happens, we can just turn back and recall these words of Paul in these verses about the strength we need to have, reapplying our armor to ourselves and strengthening ourselves. And where do we find that strength and all of that we need? In the Word. It's right there. We need to be willing to get out of Yahweh's way and allow Him to also work in and through us. Sometimes we try to turn something over to God and say, God, here it is, it's yours. And then what do? We snatch it back. We say, okay, I'm a little impatient, God. I want to do it now. I'll let you help, but I'm going to take charge. As we go forth, though, into the world with our feet going forward, pressing on, we should be bound fully and prepared to face each person we meet with the blessed peace of Yahweh, which He has placed in us. That peace may at times be gentle and soft beyond measure, but also there are times when that peace needs to be strong and rugged as well. Kind of ironic, but you know the adversary will be coming with fiery darts at you from every direction if necessary, and he's very good at aiming. Now the irony for a moment. Just think of the picture I presented to you a moment ago. The Roman soldier's sandals protecting your feet in battle against the enemy, giving you strength and fortitude to firmly plant your feet no matter what Satan throws at you. But doing it with the preparation of God's peace. And how do we accomplish this? Well, how can you have both things? An armored up warrior immersed in the gospel of peace. That peace is what will give us comfort in battle, filling our hearts and minds with the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that we are doing what is right and what is true. That peace will reassure us that we are fighting for His truth. It's going to bring us the resolve we need in times of confusion, conflicting emotions, and in stress. With Yeshua as our example, while He walked this earth, He was filled with Abba's pure peace, and even in the garden, in the moments of excruciating pain and trauma to His physical body, while being beaten, then crucified as well, He was the greatest warrior of them all. You know, Yeshua fought for us, each and every one of us. Every stripe He took, every drop of blood He shed, every piece of agony and pain He went through, that was for you. It was for me. He battled Satan in the desert when tempted. He never gave in. He never gave up, yet shared His perfect peace with us. Being immersed in His peace does not mean we become someone else's doormat. It doesn't mean that we allow others to walk all over us, persecuting us purposefully when there are biblical principles we should be standing for. Will we be persecuted at some point in our lives? The likelihood is very strong, but best to be persecuted for standing for truth than laying down and doing nothing, inviting the adversary to walk all over us through friends, family, congregants, whomever it might be. There is a way to be balanced in our words and in our actions, where we are strong, courageous, fearless warriors in battle, wearing our armor, yet filled with peace. It is a delicate balance which becomes more practiced and clear when we work with Him through each battle that we face. For those who are seeking a journal, I would like to point you to Torah for Women's Prayer Journal. This is the Virtuous Woman's Prayer Journal, and in each and every section of here we have a scripture and a few pages with which you can write on. I have filled mine tremendously. This is available on Amazon.com. I will put the link in the description below so that you can see it if you would like to order one. I have been working for the last few years on a second journal. I have not published it yet. I've got it just about ready to go, and I keep saying I'm going to publish it, but I haven't gotten to that yet. So we will be doing a second one as well, and through that I will have more lessons coming forward. But if you would like, you can order the Torah for Women Virtuous Woman's Prayer Journal and start with number 1 in this series and work your way through with us. Now, the prayer journal challenge I have for you today and for the week is to pray and ponder on ways Yahweh wants you to be that courageous warrior with your feet shod, bound under, so that you can hold firm, walking forward through all this world and this modern day has to throw at you, ready to stand against the adversary in every corner of your life. How are you, or will you, push forward with Yahweh, advancing through the battles no matter what he throws at you? Not Yahweh throws at you, the adversary. You will only discover the things that you do with taking the time to pray and spending time in his presence, talking to him, talking with him, listening for him to lead you forward. And as you go forward, you know, there have been times where each and every one of us has had a moment or a day or a week or a month where we have felt weary in battle. We have felt alone, but we are not alone. He is with you. He is with each and every one of us. Call on him. Now, since this is our first official message for the prayer journaling for 2023, this is the perfect time for you to put your shoes on and walk forward with Yeshua by your side and Yahweh standing firm. My prayers for you will be with you this week as you and I try to get back on track with our prayer time and our journaling, as well as my recording more and more prayer journal messages. And I hope that you will find that peace inside of you of the gospel that lives in you, but also stand firm as a warrior. Blessings and shalom.